Good Sunday evening to you, and welcome to episode number 2 of Sunday Night Guardians here on the Dog Chug Network. Happy Easter, everyone, and we're glad to get you up to speed with the Guardians baseball. If you've been busy today with the holiday and traveling and doing things with your family, hopefully we can bring you up to speed on what happened today, but also the previous week, and then kind of give you a preview in the next week. Want to introduce my co-host, Roger. Happy today.
Man, I'm doing great today. How can I be doing any better after this opening, the road trip we're on and come home and face the Cubs? How can I be any better? Um, it was a crazy day today. Um, just absolutely nuts from the time woke up and I was sitting on a dock while Jack was trying to catch some fish in 34 and 45-degree weather, and a great blue herring
Ooh,
decided to roll up on me and checking to see what the guard score of game one was. And I posted a video of that. This thing was monstrous. It's huge. Um, but we had a great holiday today. The boy, did the Easter egg hunt, went out and had dinner late. I rushed home from, dinner to get here on time. So I'm ready to talk baseball. I'm sitting at the table at the Roadhouse. We went there and I got the game on in my headphones. No TV. The TV's on the Cavs game and something else.
oh,
And but I was sitting there listening at Easter dinner at the Texas Roadhouse because our family dinner got canceled. One of the grandparents got sick. Blah blah blah. So we went and ate at the Roadhouse where our son works when he got off. So that was our Easter.
good, good. Yeah, I mean, I went over to my dad's stepmom's wife and two of my three daughters that were in town. So
Nice.
just had a nice time, nice dinner there. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of took a little nap during that game one of that doubleheader because not a lot going on there. But before we jump into that, I wanted to ask you, with talking Easter here, what was your favorite candy and least favorite candy that you used to get in your Easter basket?
See, for me, it's different. It's not anything that's commercial. Where I grew up, right where our church is, if anybody knows the West Side on the corner of West 71st in Detroit, is the parish I grew up in. Right down that street, right before our soccer field there was a place called Tower Candy. And it was there. My dad worked there when he was like 13 after school. And their candy was the best. And every year they had a bunny whoever sold the most candy got this giant rabbit. It was Harvey. One of my buddies' family won it one year. But their candy, it was so my favorite candy was they just had a chocolate that was shaped as a cross. I went to. And it
Nice.
was that as a kid, I had to have that, man. It was just like the best chocolate in the world. And my least favorite is anything I don't like, man, I don't like marshmallow candy. Like
Yeah.
anything, I'll take a butter, but anything on the nut mellow, I don't like the eggs. But the Cadbury eggs are the most gross thing in the world. So that has to be my least favorite. It's the most disgusting thing that ever rolled out of chocolate. Um, yeah, it's bad. I won't eat those. They love them. I won't touch them.
So,
So
so
your
I'm kind of
Cadbury's
with
just
you, on that. So I got
horrible.
to ask you, the giant bunny, and everybody out there watching, I'm wondering what your take is on this. Hollow bunnies versus solid bunnies, man. It feels
Oh,
like the hollow bunnies, you're getting the short end of the stick.
oh, you're
Got to
definitely
be a
getting that
solid chocolate.
solid chocolate. Harvey was like a huge giant, man. It was huge. His mom melted it all down and made candy for like a year with it. It was so damn big. Yeah, it was solid. Definitely a solid bunny, no doubt.
Yeah, I have to say I'm the opposite with you. I'm a Cadbury egg guy. Give me one, I'm good. But also the peanut butter eggs, the Reese's peanut butter eggs.
Yeah,
Throw those bad boys
yeah,
in the freezer, pop them out frozen.
yeah,
Excellent, excellent. The least
yeah.
favorite, jelly beans. When they would fall to the bottom of the basket through all that fake grass, they could stay down there. In fact, I remember a few years
Oh, see,
when my parents they'd pull the basket out for the next season, and you'd lift up the grass and there'd be a few still sitting in there, probably as fresh as they were the same days they were put in there. But I pitched them
I
because no
love
way.
jelly beans.
I am not a jelly
I
bean
like candy
guy.
too. So
But I will tell you, the favorite thing outside of candy, though, that was why I loved Easter so much. My parents used to go to, you guys might have had it up there too, Ben Franklin's, like five and dime store. So
No.
we had
Mm-mm.
one in Canton, and you'd get out of the car, and you would see on the window going into the store, you could see the Tops logo of one of the boxes that were opened up, and then you know how they'd fold it up to make it stand, so it had like a backing, and
Mhm.
that's where the baseball cards, you always get them there first. But most of the time, my first packs of baseball cards were in my Easter basket,
Ah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah,
was the best to get your first couple packs in there, get a little bit of candy, and you were good to go. So
yeah. That's a good. My Easter bunny was he was shorting me. He was shorting me. I never got. I had to get mines at Lawson's. That's where I got my. I scored mine
Lawson's
at
nice.
Lawson's. Half of my collection was on allegedly a five finger discount, but
We won't talk about that. We'll exclude that from the show.
no, I confessed it. I'm good.
Yeah.
Told the priest I'm good.
So we can move on from Easter bunnies, and we can move on to Cubbies. The Cubbies were in town this weekend. We had the home opener on Friday, and we took the home opener 4-1. And what happened again, Roger? Chase DeLauder, another
Just
home
a
run.
letter.
What were your thoughts on that? The home opener, just the weather in general. They said the weather was the nicest weather they'd had since 1992. That would have been the year I was up there when I graduated high school, and I do remember a beautiful day up there. It was versus the Boston Red Sox, but the fans looked like they had a great time and great weather once again. So, what was your take on the home opener?
The weather, it's because I wasn't there because I've never been to a home opener. I had tickets to the Blizzard. I've never been to a nice weather home opener ever. Um, it's just I'm bad luck when it comes to weather. I've seen a lot of wins on home openers, but the weather's never cooperated. Um, you know, the kid DeLauder, like you said, man, that last at bat was just a thing of beauty. And there people were comparing him to different. It happens every time, but when you watch his hands, and I think David, a guy that follows me, Dave said, looked like Lofton when that inside pitch, how he turned on that inside pitch and just corkscrew. His hands stayed tight. Now, but a bat to the ball, and it was it. It was over as soon as he left the bat. Um, you heard it when you heard it on the radio, or on the TV, and I'm sure anybody at the ballpark, as soon as it hit the bat, you knew it was gone. You know, what a way to start coming up. Coming home from that road trip. To have an home opener and to win the game like that against the Cubs, another National League team that's a contender. What else can you ask for?
Yeah, it was great start to the homestand. We had the one play, uh, Gabriel Arias pop up behind third base between third and short. Jose looked like he was going to get it because even though Jose is a third baseman, there's a lot of times it feels like he's the if he calls it, it's his kind of responsibility. But in that case, Arias should have called him off, and ball lands, and that's really what cost us the only run that game with Arias. And thankfully, if you make a bad play out in the field, that you go and get up to the plate and drives a home run, takes an outside pitch to right field like he should for the home run to make up for his defensive lapse there. So great start to the homestand. Fans were into it. The Chase DeLauder, the last two times he had been in that building, it was full both times, right? So the playoff
Yeah.
game, his major league debut, and then the home opener, and then you get games like
What was
today
that?
where where it was cold, but yet there was still a lot of fans there on Easter Sunday for double headers since yesterday's game was rained out. Where are we at on here? So
Yeah,
where is
something happened
this?
there.
Okay, so
It
yeah,
screwed up.
today's doubleheader, game one. We did take the L 1-0. Cubbies win that one. Roger, it was the least amount of hits ever in a game at Progressive Field. 3 total hits, one by the Guardians, and that was an actual misplay in right field. Um, like I said, that was one where I took a little bit of a nap there on that one because there's not a lot going on a cold, windy day, and doesn't seem like I missed much. Did you catch any
I,
of the first game?
well, yeah, I listened to the whole. I mean, in between my experience with the wildlife and the fishing and Firestone Park area, I listened to the whole ball game, and I almost took a nap. Sitting on the dock out there at Little Turtle Pond or Small Turtle Pond, whatever it is. But that's baseball in April. You know what I mean? You want every game to be a barn burner. There's sometimes where the thing about it wasn't like it was some great pitching duel, but when I'm listening, it's different from watching when it's a pitcher's duel. You know what I mean? When you're
Right.
watching a pitcher light
Oh
up
yeah.
lineup up. But it was my worry was the weather again. Yesterday I thought they could have got the game in if they did a 4 o'clock start. And get the game in. Um,
Yeah, I wonder what
they
the
had
rules are. I saw you posted that. I wonder what the rules are on that. Where they
I'm
can
sure there's TV rules and all
how
that,
many
and
yeah,
that's
and how
what
many hours in advance they got it to before they can.
there's no actual baseball rule. There's maybe TV rules, etc. But it was the game one was just it was what yeah, you said it was 3 hits the whole game. And I sat and listened all 9 innings. So I get a gold star for that.
Yeah, so if everybody was eating their Easter dinner early, you didn't really miss much on the first one,
Uh,
taking the loss 1-0. But game two, we decided to come back on that one. It looked a little sloppy. We got the win in the second game, 6-5. Pitching wise, Cade Smith once again comes in to close the game. Does give up a run. Still, any concerns there with Cade, or is it just because hey, we're looking at it's April 5th. We all need to relax and let this guy. I mean, he's out there with some of these. What'd you see? You had C.J. Cafish, you had Quan, they had the hoods over their face and over their head, playing out in the field. And then you got Cade Smith walking in like he's NFL official Ed Hockley with his pipes hanging out of his jersey, throwing 90 plus, 95 plus.
yeah.
Um, the guy's he's about as stone as some of our guardian statues there on the Hope Bridge, man. But what do you think? This early in the
No,
season,
man.
still any concerns or not?
No, 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 not you. Not this early in the season with the bull, anybody in the bullpen or anybody on the team for that matter. I'll tell you what, when pitching, blows a lead or gives up a run or something in early baseball, early April, it's more concern. It might be more concerning than a hitter not hitting or somebody being cold or going 0 for 18 because pitching don't change your pitching schedule, whatever whatever they have you on as far as your workload. And it don't matter who's standing in the batter's box or who's not. You know what I mean? When you're pitching, I think they're more ready for the beginning of the season. You know what I'm saying? Where a hitter, they need 90 at bats, and then there's another thing about this when I thought they were going to drop them, I'm like, well, these guys have been in Arizona since February, and then they went to the West Coast, and then they come here. We had zeros, we had -10. Today felt, it was cold, but it must have felt like 0 degrees. It must have felt like -10 to those
Yeah,
guys. Now Chicago already played in Chicago and they had a cold home opener. So I took that into granted with, and you're talking about Case, man, it's just he's just gonna grow into the role. You know what I mean? And it's force fed to him. He's been handed it to him. Um, and what would you rather see him grow into the role somewhere else, or because he's behind Class A, or I think he could be a dominant closer. It's way too early to show any concern for him. As far as early in the year, let them get going, let the bullpen gel and form, and they get a feel for how they're using guys. You know what I mean? Right now,
yeah.
they're just feeling things out, not with him, but with everybody leading up to him or setting it up.
Right, and Messick, another good start, 5 innings.
Messick, oof.
Yeah, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, only 2 hits. Just another great outing for him. I know Cleveland Guards Pro tweeted out there, hey, keep him in mind for AL Rookie of the Year as we're looking at Kafis too, or not Kafis, but Chase
Lowry.
DeLauder as well. So, but man, that would be something. I'd love to have that argument late in the season that two of our own guys are battling it out for AL Rookie of the Year. That'd be a wonderful problem to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody posted today, they never want to see Allen again in the rotation. And I said, well, he's a lot, you might want to pump the brakes on that if he
Yeah,
can figure it out, but
yeah,
right now I'll take I'll take Messick over, you know, over him any day. He's lights out, both starts, you know. Did you he We'll talk about it in a little bit, but man, he sat Otani down, made Otani look ridiculous.
yeah.
So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, man, what a great they got the split today. Um, the what more can you ask for to start out the season? For the first, for your opening weekend at home and to open the season on the road. Um, I can't think of a better way.
Yeah, and I mentioned Capus, hitting a big home run there near the end of the game. Arias, another great RBI. That's two guys where, of course, everybody right at the beginning of the season's like, send those guys down to AAA. You know what? It's so early. You gotta let guys play. I mean, it's so early. Unless they're injured, they need some time. Especially guys. I know Arias is getting more at bats than Capus, but
Yeah,
when Capus came off the bench today with that pinch hit, great job by
yeah,
him. Even Hedgie's hitting the ball 2 for 4, so we got to give him some credit as well. He is
yeah.
hitting the ball this year and getting some base hits. If he can get singles and not outs, I'll take that all day long, the whole year,
You
even on
had
that
guys
limited
that were
basis.
they had people killing Cephas out on when they were on the road. I think it was in a Dodgers game, and I'm like, man, this is a kid. You know what I mean? Get that bum out. It drives me, insane. Just let these guys play baseball. These young guys,
And they don't,
man.
Roger. I think a lot of those people don't follow some of these guys into the minors too. They just like,
Yeah,
all right, this is supposed to be the next guy, and then he comes up and he's
right.
flat at the beginning. It's like you got to understand. You got to give him a chance to adjust.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I let it drive me nuts. I
Yeah,
have no idea why it drives me as nuts as it does, but it does. So, um, well, like I said, that was a great way to wrap up the home series and take that game, and win the series at home because in baseball we always talk about this. You got to win at home and go 500 on the road, and look where we're sitting after the first week. So you got to love that.
yeah. So I'm trying to look. I was trying to see, and I'm watching. I got Sunday Night Baseball on Peacock right now. I got the Tigers up 2-0. It looks like on the Cardinals right now. Yeah, 2-0 on the Cardinals. Top of
Ooh,
the fifth. Cardinals got two on. But as far as the standings go, Guards have a 1 game lead, 6-4 record. Tigers are 4-4, 1 game back. And
yeah.
then, the White Sox, Royals, Twins, we're not even really concerned about. Game and a half, 2.5 back. So we're starting where we need to for a cold April, especially today. But thankfully, on the West Coast, we would be able to get warm in that series in Los Angeles and take 2 of the 3 at the beginning of the week against the Dodgers before we head home for our home opener. And game 1, back again. Let's talk some more Messick. Messick looked fantastic out at Dodger Stadium. Did that pull up? There we go. Game 1, Messick pitches great. 6 innings, 5 Ks. We won 4-2. After the game, he spoke very, very highly of Austin Hedges on how he helped him through that game. Once again, we just talked about Hedges actually hitting, but we know his value, Roger, when it comes to calling a game for these guys, especially rookies.
It's another thing that I don't know why I let it drive me nuts. Hey, by the way, I beat you there and I did my job with that banner and you took it off and then I had to
Did
put it
I?
back up.
My
So
bad. My bad.
I don't, and the dog chug, I don't touch nothing. I show up, and that's it. And so I gotta get used to this thing having some responsibility. No, what we're talking about? Oh, with
Messick.
Hedges. You
And
know, I
Hedges,
let it
yeah.
bother me when people say things about, oh, get this guy off. During spring training, somebody he was hitting six, which catchers hit six during spring training. It's just they usually hit around five or six. You're not going to see a catcher in the beginning or the end of a lineup. It's just, you know, and somebody's complaining during spring training, and it's like, hey, Bo Naylor will be hitting six tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's just a spring training. It's what they do, and this guy has more value. There's two guys on this roster that if they were not on the Guardians roster, we may not be a 500 baseball team. And that's Hedges and Daniel Schneemann. Those are two guys, and we talked. If they hit free agency right now, they'd be gone. Maybe not Hedgie would take a certain manager that knows his value. You know what I mean? And knows
Mhm.
what he means. They're probably back to Oakland or something, or whatever the hell they're called now. But yeah, those guys are invaluable to that clubhouse and to this baseball team. Invaluable.
Yeah, I mean, as fans, we just keep looking at it. It's like, man, it's such a, somewhat of a cheap backup option that like he's this veteran, but he can't put it in a box score. And I think what don't realize is the where he puts it in the box score is through his pitchers that he's behind the plate for, with
Yeah.
calling the game and hopefully keeping walks to a minimum and strikeouts high. So and just keeping the young pitchers calm because we're such a young team that we need that. They keep talking about on the telecast with Manning and Underwood talking about how important it is that just having Reese Hoskins out there, just another veteran bat in the lineup, which you and I both know that. We talk about that like how many years now in a row, the importance of having those veterans off the bench that can come in and make
Yeah.
spot starts or play it, maybe 4 or 5 games in a week because there's an injury out and they can step in and keep everything together. So that's highly important.
It's not that, but even that, but look at his numbers and I don't have him in front of me, but just with his the strike zone run saved, they talk about the fielding run value, his defensive numbers and what he does behind the plate, not only with the pitchers, but from the defensive stand, keeping
Yeah,
runners on,
it's a great point.
your catcher position, if you got a catcher that remember we had Jan Gomes that was a silver slugger one year. Roberto Perez, he'd hit a bomb every once in a while. He hit the big giant one, in the World Series. But you get a catcher and his values and his defense and what he means to the pitching staff. Anything they do at the plate is gravy most of the time.
Right,
With
right,
the catcher.
right. Game two of the series there in LA. Tanner Bybee, the SoCal kid, back home, pitching in front of his family, a lot of friends.
Yeah.
He took the L that night, but the important thing to really talk about is that he was out there and he did pitch, and then he pitched multiple innings and he left healthy. I didn't hear any reports, did you, after the start that there's going to be anything where he might miss his next start? I think sounds
Nothing.
like he's good to go. So we're
Nothing.
very
And I
thankful
forget
for
who
that.
I read that actually said something where they didn't say clean bill of health, but he came out of it clean. There's no reports of anything, trainer's room, nothing. So,
Yeah, I would have loved to, see him get a win, in front of the home crowd for him, uh, being from the area. But unfortunately, that wasn't in the cards. But I tell you, who made up for it in Game Three? Big Rig, Gavin
um,
Williams.
yeah. And one thing about Bybee, I want to say this before I bring up Williams is with Bybee is it was good to see that he gets killed early in counts. It's 1-1, 0-1, 0-2, 1-2, and he'll give up just a meatball pitch. He'll make a mistake and they're ready for it. And it's usually because he's trying to like just sneak a fastball in there to get ahead in the count or try to get even. And it was good to see that and that he didn't turn around right after we got a lead and give it right back up. And,
Right.
and he's done that. And so for me, an outing for him, it was a great outing for him. Excellent, excellent outing for Bybee. All right, now we can go to three. Sorry, I ruined your role.
It's all right. No, I mean Game Three that we want to talk about with Gavin Williams. I mean, Andre Knott was saying he even heard people talking around. I was like, damn, like he's got good stuff. Like this guy's has really come along. And we're like, yes, he has. You know, that second half of last year, his start to the beginning of this season, and to do it in Dodger Stadium. Um, you know, one way I look at it, though, Roger, is that playing the Dodgers in end of March, going into the beginning of April, that is a way different team that you're going to be playing in October. You know, the atmosphere is going to be different. The players are going to be playing maybe at a different level, but all you can do is play the games. You got to play your schedule. I think they did a great job. Jose and Arias, both homer in that game. Neiman, man, he's the one that I was really impressed with, though, on that one. Do you remember that double he hit? Steals third. They throw the ball down to third
Man,
base and threw it out in left
yeah,
field, and he scores and manufactured that guard's ball run.
he manufactured a run like he's did all his life in little league, in high school, in college, in the minors. He manufactures run. He's a ball player. I don't forget. I don't want to bring it up, but arguing with some guy, or not even arguing, but he made a comment about Schneeman being in the lineup, and he's a news guy. He's on the news, and I was like, it's just a disparaging comment about how's this guy hitting 230 in our lineup, And I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about, dude, when it comes to baseball. Like we said earlier, his value, he'd be gone in 30 seconds. The kid plays five positions. How about tracking the ball down,
Oh yeah,
in deep right center field,
yeah. The
and
catch.
then tomorrow he'll be at second base and then he'll go play third. Are you kidding me? His value is ridiculous. And then,
Yeah,
like you said, I keep getting confused with our banners because Arias's name is in like five of them, and people hate him. I've been defending this kid. I put a post out from a bookmark from 2022 where I was like huge on him, and I have been. And the minute this weekend or Friday, I was just like, oh my God, he's falling asleep. And I don't even know. No, I think it was last week during the Dodgers. You know what? I'm still so sleep deprived. So my days, I forget what day it is because of that opener. Um, but he's just playing baseball, man. He's got so much raw talent. It's there, man. You're just waiting for it to click. And I think Vogt loves him. And I don't think Gabriel Arias is going anywhere, anywhere.
it's going to be a tough call. You know, I give you
I think the
credit
coach,
for one. I give you credit because last year I was not on board with him. I thought Juan Berto was going to come up, take a spot, but defensively, Arias has been there. It's the bat that needs to come around, and some of his hits, that I've saw, when I
man,
love when people hit the ball, take the ball where it's pitched, and
he
that
went
home run to
opposite
right
field.
field. What's that?
He took that one opposite field, man, and that
Yeah.
ball was unhittable.
And then
Ridiculous.
what? Yamamoto, that drive to center field, that home run in L.A.
Yeah.
What we're talking about. That was,
Deep center field. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
I
I
was
had
when
the
he
two
hit it, I was
confused.
like,
You're right.
hey, that's a pretty good hit. I didn't think it was going to go out, but sure as shit, it did.
And it just
So
kept, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got to give him credit. I don't give people flowers. I don't like that term, but I'll give
Yeah.
him credit. But yeah, Schneeman, man, he's like the old Bugs Bunny commercial. First base, Bugs Bunny. Second base, Bugs Bunny. Third base, Bugs Bunny. I mean, that's you just put his
Yeah.
ass out there, and he's going to play
Yeah.
ball, and he's going to give you 100%. He's a total red ass. So
And Jose's Jose. Right now he's chasing. He's still hitting the
yeah,
ball and winning big game, and he's chasing things. Um, but Jose will do what Jose does.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, we're doing this, Roger, with my dad mentioned that too today. We were talking, and it's like I said, he's swinging at pitchers that he doesn't normally swing at. The ones
yeah,
that are
yeah.
off the plate. He's either just not seeing the ball well right now, or honestly, I don't know. It's just early. So same thing with Stephen Kwan. So those are two big guys, or two of our top hitters. That how many times have you saw Kwan actually strike out recently? I'd have to look and see what his stats are, but actually there was a couple I think looking too.
Yeah,
Normally he's a tough strikeout, and so he's going through it a little bit too to start the season, and that's fine because you know what? Some of these guys, the Arias that is hitting well right now, he'll start tanking at some point, and that's how baseball is.
that's
The,
it, man.
the
And you
guys
have a
pick up for
lineup.
each other.
That's how it works. You're not going to have nine guys all hot, and hopefully you don't have nine guys all cold. You really
Right.
only need two or three of them to really be hitting the baseball, and a couple other guys pitching in with walks. to win a baseball game as long as you have the pitching there. Pitching, the thing about baseball is a defensive game. The entire game is about pitching and playing defense. The 27, the object of baseball isn't to score runs. If it was, we'd be playing softball. They'd be doing underhand pitch softball if that's what baseball is about. Runs are hard to come by. And if you have good defense and good pitching, man, you can win some ball games by just putting a couple runs on the board. So it's just who's hot, what you're riding, and the greatest thing about the Guardians lineup is how much. I remember in the old days, you remember '95, it was Lofton, boom, it was the same 9 guys every night.
Yeah.
Nobody moved around. Maybe down at the bottom, one or two Serrano would, somebody flip flop if Espinoza was playing. But there were the same nine guys in the same spot every night. We have different guys all over the place in different positions, hitting in different batting positions of batting order other than two that are pretty much locked in, in the entire order. He pretty much DeLauder was hitting 5, right? Was it game 1 today?
Or was it game 2, I think?
Game 2, he's hitting 5, and that you put him, and he came up big in that spot. But there's so much flexibility with our batting order and with our bench, and it's just amazing. They can do so much. They're not locked into the same 9 guys, same 10 guys, and just because I'll tell you, man, there's one thing about being a hitter coming around third time in the order, and then there's another thing about where it's a different order every night. When you're a pitcher working on a game plan for a team, and that 4-hitter or that 6-hitter is different, it just changes things.
Right. And you mentioned the word, the man, Kenny Lofton.
Kenny Lofton.
If you see my shirt, still, even though my basketball team got their ass handed to them by Michigan last night, still representing Arizona today. Where Kenny Lofton went to school. If you're a big Kenny Lofton fan, Cleveland Indians fan, go and watch Up in Smoke. It's a podcast. I watched it on YouTube, and Kenny's on there as a guest. And it's about an hour and 15 minutes, but it was a great back. I've followed Kenny since U of A. That's how I became an Arizona fan back in '88, following the team. January 2nd was the game they played New Mexico, and Kenny happened to be the point guard with Steve Kerr, Sean Elliott, number 1 team in the nation. They actually lost that night. And anyways, that's how I started following Kenny. And when he got traded to Cleveland, he became my favorite player. And today, he's still today my favorite Cleveland player because of all that and that history. So I got to learn a lot about him and where he grew up, east side of Chicago, and his college offers that he had. And it was just a fun story to talk about the 90s and then also talk about after he left Cleveland. So if you're interested, check that show out and listen to Kenny's podcast with, was it Matt Barnes that does Up in Smoke. So, but good show. So we covered the Dodgers series, taking 2 out of 3 there. I wanted to kind of talk real quick about Thursday night. I was at 717 Credit Union Park down in Akron, the former Canal Park for the Akron Rubber Ducks. It was their opening night, home opener, if you will. And it was a great night. Beautiful weather again, unlike today. It was a beautiful night. I got to cover the game from the dugout, and it was a special moment, special time, and got to witness one of our 2023 first-round pick, first baseman Ralphie Velasquez hits a 2-run homer that night. 20 years old, Roger, and this kid's a tank, and he's right there. And the reason why I like to bring up the Rubber Ducks, want to talk about the Clippers a little bit, is that we know every year at some point there are guys from the AA and AAA that will come up and make an impact on our major league roster. So I think it's important as we look at this season that we do look down the minors a little bit. For those of you that don't do that, I hope we can bring some of that to your attention. But Ralphie Velasquez hit a tank of a home run. I don't know if you got to see him in spring training a little bit, but he was hitting the ball well there too.
I can't. Our first game coming up. We got Little League night coming up. and it'll be my first game there this season. And I went to a lot more Ducks games when the kids were little. Now that they're
Yeah.
playing sports, it's not as easy. We're busy
Right.
7 nights a week with 3 boys. I'm going to be in tomorrow. Where the heck we're playing somewhere? Cuyahoga Falls High School baseball. Talmadge, playing Talmadge. Big rivalry game there. But every night we're doing something. So I don't get as much Ducks games as I used to. But man, I love minor league baseball, and everybody knows me. I'm not going to give you wars. I'm not going to quote stats. I'm not going to, definitely not going to get into any analytics. I think it serves its purpose in baseball. I'm not against any of that. But I just let go and watch baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just could tell a ball player, man, and just appreciate it. So I can't wait for minor leagues. We'll get down. We're not playing in Columbus this year, travel ball. Usually, if we're down there, we'll get a Columbus game in for sure.
Mhm.
Um, I'd love to get to more of those, but Lake County's where I really need to get to. I used to go, years ago, but I need to get the boys up and go up to Lake County, and see some more Captains baseball. But you're right, man. Those are the future, and that's exactly what this is. This core of players that we have right now, and why I think I fight so vehemently for all of them is because I've watched them since they've been, in Mahoning Valley and in Lynchburg and coming up through Akron. You start reading, or through Lake County and then Akron, and this is a core of young guys that's been together since 2022. The main 4 or 5 and our Arias, he was in 2022. Um, they've just come up together all the way through some through our system, some been added, and it's just how you build a baseball team. And right now, man, they're peaking. They're peaking, and I said it back in 2020. This is 26 to 28. I had their window, and at that time, I didn't consider it a strike. I changed that 2 years ago when I started talking about the lockout looming, where 27 might be wiped out. So really, this is their window, and it's their window with the Blitzer news that happened. It's their window where this might be his last chance, Dolan, to walk away with the championship.
Yeah.
Realistically, if they lose 2027, because in 2028 Blitzer will take control, I believe that, and this might be it for him. I hope he realizes that. It'd be nice
Yeah.
to take a commissioner's trophy back to Chardon with you and retire, with it. And just his name would be gold forever. All the talk about cheap and boom, all of that, if he went and did what he needed to do, and we're in it, and he makes a move at the trade deadline, because this might be it for him. So,
Yeah.
and it
And
all
our,
starts in the minors, like you said.
right. The farm system looks really good. The starting pitcher that night, Steven, he got the start and got the win Thursday night in Akron, and he is the pitcher that was acquired in the Shane Bieber trade with the Blue Jays. So, another
Yeah.
guy to get down there and check out because, it won't be long before some of these guys are bouncing up to triple A, but down to
Yeah.
Columbus. Angel Hano is another high prospect, infield prospect down there. So, Roger, I
I
paid
miss
$2
Bazzana.
to, yeah, yeah.
He was
I
here
paid
and gone. I didn't get a
that.
chance to go down and see him.
Yep,
Um,
really quick, and
they
he's
sometimes
already.
they shoot the Columbus, Yeah.
But yeah, they market down there. The Rubber Ducks do, affordable family fun. I paid $2 to park on a Thursday night in the parking deck.
It's
You
crazy.
can't
Yeah.
beat that. Friday nights after 5, and I think on weekends, that parking deck is free if you can get in there. So, and ticket prices aren't very much. And they got a lot of extreme food options as well, just like Progressive Field. So, check it
Yeah.
out.
Minor league
Get
balls.
down there, get to a game. But then also, Columbus Clippers. We want to talk a little bit about them. Bazzana, you mentioned Bazzana. He's already got a walk-off hit down there, and he's had a nice start with the Clippers. One of the teams they played already, the Indianapolis Indians, where Connor Griffin was. Connor already got the
Yeah.
call to the Pirates to start on the opening day in Pittsburgh. Had a great start to his career there in Pittsburgh, and it's there's you got to pay attention to if you're like us, like myself and Roger. You try to find out what the other prospects on the other teams are too, because adds to the intrigue of going to the ballpark. Because many times in the minors, if you're not paying attention, you're not really sure who is who. And thankfully, I get media guides and stuff because busy schedule too to be able to follow all these guys. But there's there's a lot of great information out there, a lot of great players. But Bazana, that walk-off hit, but also the other two guys that are going to be up on the major league roster very soon. George Valera started his rehab down there, has had a few hits, and also Hunter Gaddis rehabbing as well, pitched a few innings, and both those guys should be coming up and helping the team rather soon. Roger, it should not be long. What do you think?
No, it should not be long, especially Kafis is making a case. He's had a couple big hits, but all what they don't want to bring a guy up, give him not enough at bats, if he's up.
Right,
He's not
exactly.
going to bounce. They're going to give him a chance. But who's down there making a case is Nolan Jones. But we know Nolan Jones can hit AAA pitching. He's a
Yeah,
4.8 ball player right now. He can hit AAA pitching. Um, but we didn't talk about him at all. And since we're talking about minor leagues, since we're talking about George Valera, Manzardo needs to start making some contact, start hitting the baseball. Because like you said, there's guys waiting to come up, and
yes.
they won't hesitate if Nolan Jones is killing the ball to say, all right, let's see if he can bring it with him. You
Yeah, and
know,
Connor Griffin's coming up at age 19, number one overall pick for the Pirates. I mean, and then I just mentioned about Rafael Velasquez that he's a 20-year-old. So
yeah,
it just all depends what's in front of you. Pittsburgh didn't have a lot in front, so I think it's an easier path for him.
yeah,
Whereas, they want to give Manzardo as much time as possible, but I believe Ralphie's going to be the future at first base.
he'll get till end of April. He'll
Oh
get
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
mid-May.
yeah. We got to give
Uh,
like we talked earlier. We got to give these guys time.
yeah.
There's a lot of innings to be had, a lot of at bats to be had throughout the season, both minors and majors. So, but it's just exciting start. I think all the way around because Akron swept their series against the Reading Fighting Phils. Columbus is off to a good start as well. So it's just exciting
The
right now
whole
to have baseball back. Did you watch any of the UFL, the Columbus Aviators, or any of that? You've been paying attention to that? Is that any intrigue? Speaking of Columbus, is there any intrigue for you to watch football now that it's April, other than the draft?
well, it's fun. I won't even watch that. I'll be at Andy's house participating in, fun, but no, I'm not watching anything to do with football, in April. No, I don't. I'm not going to watch in September and October. I don't watch football until baseball's over. You kidding me?
Roger, can you imagine a dog chug field trip over to Pittsburgh to bother the Pittsburgh fans on draft night?
Oh man, yeah. Now I can imagine bond money. Can imagine, yeah, getting in some trouble probably.
I could see
Um,
Cyberdog. Andy's driving Cyberdog downtown Pittsburgh. I mean, what kind of attention that thing's going to get? That would be
let's
some
roll
great video. Andy needs to do that. He needs. I need to see
roll it over
Cyber.
that ugly yellow bridge. That orange, beautiful truck
Yes,
rolling over that ugly yellow bridge that they
yes,
got there.
one
Yeah.
hundred percent. That would be outstanding.
No, I won't pay any attention to football. I didn't even know there was a Columbus Aviators team.
Yeah, your one of your favorite schools, Ted Ginn Jr., Ohio State grad, Cleveland Glenville guy, is the
Yeah.
head coach of that team. Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, good for him.
They
Good
took
for
the
coach.
L on
He did a
Friday
lot for
night.
Cleveland. He did a lot for Cleveland football. I never, he was they weren't ever in St. Ed's class when I back then, but he did a lot for Cleveland football. I'd never say anything about Coach Ginn. But now that
Absolutely
he's
not.
down in Columbus, I might take a couple shots at him.
I knew that was coming. Knew that was coming. Well, speaking of royalty, like the Gins are in Cleveland with football and Ohio State, the Royals will be in town starting Monday for a 3-game series with the Guards. And then we have a weekend series in Atlanta. So, hey, what's the best part about that? No 10 o'clock starts. I can finally get some normal sleep this week. Roger, I'm sure you're in the same boat, and many out there too. Same thing.
I
Tired of
we
staying up.
have we only have two more games somebody said on the schedule that are later than 9 p.m. or later.
Oh,
Start first
amen.
pitch.
Now we'll
Somebody said,
probably,
and I found that hard to believe, and then I went to look for it, and I got sidetracked with something. And
now we'll,
but somebody put that, and it was a trustworthy person that said it wasn't just like some casual,
yeah,
that
hope
only
I
shows up.
haven't
They think they play once a week.
I haven't looked at the TV schedule. I'm hoping we just don't have to watch it on four different streaming channels to get,
Oh,
these
that
games in this
don't
week.
get me
My
started. You know what that
gosh.
ruins is I'm a from the old school where I'm a surfer. And I'll watch a hockey, I'll watch basketball, I'll watch two baseball games and an episode of Matlock all at the same time. And
Damn.
you can't do that
And
with
Matlock.
apps. And Matlock all at the same time. And you can't do that with the streaming. It's awful. I hate it. I hate all the I got Hamilton on the radio. That'll get me by. And with football, if I have to start paying for the Browns, I'm listening to radio, and then they make me pay for that. I'm done. Just so you
So
know, that's where I stand on football.
as much as we all love Hammy, for those that don't know, I know there's many people that watch the guards just on cable or whatever, but if you're not buying it, I turned my buddy on to buying the package through the MLB app. And when you go to watch the games there, if you look at the bottom, you have the option to put the either TV broadcast on or you can listen to the radio broadcast feed. So if you want to
Yeah.
turn Rick and Matt off and put Hammy on, you can do that. And when I
Yeah.
told him that earlier this week, he's like, "Oh my gosh, man! I'm like in heaven. This is great."
Yeah, I had it
So
last year, and I did it. It was nice.
yeah, it's so much fun. I remember. I mean, you probably go back and you go back to the days of trying to put like Nev Chandler on the radio for the Browns, where you would
Oh
turn
yeah,
down the guys on TV but put Nev on the radio to call
yeah,
Browns games. And
yeah.
then
Oh, absolutely. And back then it was easier to sync up than it is now. It was
yeah.
closer when
Well,
they're
you
both
remember
you had your
do you remember
lines.
what changed
Yeah,
all that? Do you
I'm
remember
sorry.
what changed the feed where it didn't match up and why?
No,
Do you remember the Super Bowl incident with Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson?
that's right.
Basically,
Wardrobe malfunction.
Tittygate. Yeah, so
Yeah,
Tittygate happened.
wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, then they had to create that delay that was longer, and I don't know. I could never get it to work after a while, but thankfully, modern day technology has changed that. So
See, I've always cheated. I'd sit out on the front porch, I'd listen to the radio, and I'd have the game DVR, and I always set it back a little bit so I can go in and catch it. Whatever happened, it's on a little of my own tape delay. Now that I wear hearing aids, I'm piped in. I'm listening to the ball game. I'm listening to Sports Talk 24/7 because my hearing aids are like earbuds. So now people still think I'm deaf, but I'm actually listening to baseball or I'm listening to sports talk or
right.
something, and I just don't hear you because that's what I'm listening to.
All right. Well, it should be a good, hopefully another good week with a division opponent coming in. Let's get 2 out of 3 with the Royals. If not, sweep them. The Royals should be improved a little bit this year. We'll find out. Time will tell. But it's early April, and Brave series should be good. Braves have started out pretty well too.
Yeah,
So we better
yeah.
we got to come to play, pack our bats for that one. So
To get a division game, the division series too, because there are a lot fewer and far between it. Now that we have more. I hate saying interleague because I think we're going to come out of this to strike with two leagues, but it's going to be a fairly matched schedule. The interleague banner term that we use is almost should be gone anyway. You're playing everybody now.
so
But that that's I'm sorry, I just saw
no,
something on here. But with the Braves, who's a big Braves fan that we know? Oh, back to the Pittsburgh, the Yinzer. Is the dog Chug Yinzer is a big Braves fan. I knew a Braves fan.
well
I thought
that's
it was
my
Eddie Mack, but he's a Boston fan. He's a Red Sox fan.
Braves are my number 2 team going back to the days of Dale Murphy. So I've been
I
to
can't
Atlanta
do the
Fulton
Braves.
County Stadium. I've been to Turner Field, and I'm hoping maybe this summer on a trip to Florida.
I
Hopefully that
can't.
I might route the
I
path to make sure that we
uh,
hit the new stadium in Atlanta.
the Braves for me were always just Hank Aaron, growing up until we lost in '95, and it's just pure hatred from
Oh,
that point on.
that was rough for me because I'd rooted for the
Uh,
Braves for since early '80s as my backup team because back then, Roger, it was TV now has changed where and fantasy baseball and gambling has changed where fans can be fans of just about any team. But thankfully, we have enough homegrown people here that we have enough local support for our big league city and big league team. But back then it was more like when the AL and NL didn't play, you could have maybe a favorite team, favorite players from the other league because hell, they never played unless it was going to be the World Series, and a
yeah.
little bit easier back then. But nowadays, it's like if
See,
somebody's playing a parlay, and I'm watching Meadows up at bat here for the Tigers. They might be a fan of his because they won him $100 one night or something.
right. Well, that I mean, a lot of things has opened up baseball, interleague play to gambling. Where I wrote 900 words on this. The only way I was introduced or knew anything about National League growing up was through baseball cards.
Hmm.
I was a Cleveland Indians fan. I didn't get to see, Tug McGraw. I didn't get to see Raleigh Fingers. Those were just guys on on baseball cards. And that's how you learn baseball. If you were, back then, if you're an American, I'm sure the kids in the 70s and the Mets fans and who else was miserable. And I'm sure those kids didn't know anything about AL baseball or ever see them. Where
I'm
now you
sure you
just,
woke up on Saturday mornings and were watching This Week in Baseball.
right,
I'm
right.
sure
And
that
that's it.
that was part of it too.
That was it. That was the only access you had. And if you caught a game on TV, that was Saturday baseball or something.
Yeah, we got
So I
the
think baseball's just, expanded, so much. I love it. It's one of
yeah.
the things I love is playing a
Yeah,
wide open schedule.
it's been totally great for the game. I mean, we go back in the days when you had to look in a pocket schedule and go, shit, is the game on TV?
And
You
well,
know,
that and do I want to go see the Tigers again? Do I want to go see the Rangers again? Do I want to go see Baltimore again? I want to see the Phillies. I want to see the Dodgers. I want to see some National League teams come into town. I
yeah,
mean, Jesus, you're cutting your options in half. The teams that you're going to see, the ball players that you can see by just having ALNO. It's the greatest thing they did to baseball is open it up.
yeah. I
I wrote
remember.
900 words on it. I'll post it later.
Sure, you don't want to read it all right now. We got a few minutes here before we're getting out, but I mean, Reverend
No, I
Baseball.
got something
It
else to
is
talk
Easter, and
about.
it's Reverend Baseball has not spoke yet. So
I have something else to talk about for that.
yeah.
So
Well, we'll plan that on a future episode then. So we'll be
yeah,
good to go.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we're going to pretty much close it up tonight. It's been a great week of Guardians baseball. I hope everybody had a happy holiday with Easter, and even though the weather was not fantastic, we split the series with the Cubbies. Hopefully, that last win helps warm you up today. And we appreciate everybody that's watching. I see 15 live viewers right now. We're going to try to keep these shows right around about an hour. I think Zach will be back next week. So we're looking,
holidays, yeah.
as we're building this show, we're looking to have some guests come on in the future too. But right now, we just want to get lathered up, get the ball rolling. It's only April. It's a lot of season. There's a lot to talk about. And Roger, I know that we haven't had to use the long wind warning that you use on Dog Chug here, but uh, we can definitely bring that in if you need to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is the second show I screwed up this week. I screwed up Dog Chug on Wednesday and blew that, and somebody bailed us out. So we're gonna get better at it here. As the season, we're gonna have a lot of great guests. You and I were talking about that. There is one thing that I want to get on my soapbox about.
Here we go.
Um,
Let's
and
go.
and it's home. And I normally wouldn't do it, but I was listening to the home opener pregame. I'm driving home from work, and I just turned on the radio, and I didn't catch who was saying it, but he's begging baseball not to shut down. To come to some sort of agreement, because right now, and it's a fact, the momentum of baseball is ridiculous with the WBC and its success.
Yes.
And of course the Dodgers and Yankee love. is at an all-time high everywhere. Even in Japan, they love baseball, American or MLB baseball. And so he's pleading with Major League. He's pleading with the players not to do this to the fans. And I agree with the sentiment 100%. 100%. But there's only one problem, and that's the only sticking point is Major League Baseball. And they don't really care about the fans. What they care about is the fans' money. And they care about you showing up at the gate and then counting on you to be there so they can divvy up our money. And this is what it's all about right now. It's about greed. The impending lockout, the peckouts, it's not about baseball, it's about greed. And it's at our expense of people who love baseball. This isn't about young guys not coming up. This isn't about what's best for them. It's not about the major leaguer at the beginning of their career, whether their contract's going to be extended. It's about the big money names, the Otanis, the Judges, the Lindors, the Scoobles. It's about them. And let's not forget management. It's about the owners, about TV money. It's about the money they hide and they don't want anybody to know about. And they claim that they've lost money. The way you could drive up prices, to get $60 a hat. Did you see that new era? $60 a hat for a hat. I got 3 kids. Can you imagine me buying all 3 of them? We were at Burlington and they found some hats that didn't make it new era. They're like $15 with comics on them, and they loved them. It's here's one. My son, a $200 jersey he couldn't wear to home opener. He borrowed the Jim Thome one that hangs on the wall back there because it's a manual Class A. And he, saved that money, and his aunt pitched in for his birthday, and it's a manual Class A jersey. You can't even wear it. You know, this isn't baseball. Get it done. Get it done for yourselves so you can divvy up our money, split it between yourselves, and just give us our baseball. Just give us our baseball, and we'll keep throwing money at you that you can hoard, and just give us our baseball back. That's what we ask. That's the biggest. That's who's losing in this will be the fans. We're the ones that will lose in this. They'll all make out. They'll all be fine. We're the ones that are going to lose in this. So I'm gonna get off my. It's Reverend Baseball getting off my soapbox.
Well, that's all we got for tonight. Yeah, once again, thanks for tuning in. We look forward to being back next week for episode 3. Should be another great Sunday. It is my birthday next Sunday, but I will still be here. Love talking Guards baseball with you guys. And yeah, spread the word. Get in the chat with us, ask questions. Let's make this interactive. And support the Dog Chug Network. Follow the YouTube channel, the X channel. And also, there's going to be a Facebook page too, Roger, I believe, that Andy has started up. Is that correct?
For Dog Chug, yeah, Andy, we motivated him with this, and he went to work. He added all these things with our awesome. We got to thank Kevin Slutz for that for our intro video. Maybe we'll close with
That's
it
right.
too. It's so great. It's beautiful. And Andy went to work and he lined up a lot of stuff. We're getting the Dog Chug Network channel in, and we just want you to subscribe. We don't want no money. We're not going to have a Patreon. We're not going to do any of that. We just want you to subscribe, and maybe we'll start getting some T-shirts out there and give stuff away as we get bigger. But we appreciate you watching.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. Everybody have a great start to your work week tomorrow, and go Guards.
Go Guards.